Today's practice is going to be an energizing morning flow. If you're a beginner, it may be a bit of a challenge for you, but if you want to push yourself to a new limit, we'll have tons of twists, balancing, and binds throughout this practice. Blocks during this practice are highly encouraged, so make sure you use whatever props you need in order to support your practice. With whatever we move through during this flow, take what you need and leave what you don't. We'll be starting today in a kneeling position. If you need a bit more support for your knees, maybe take a block and sit it underneath your hips, or take a blanket and wedge it in between your thighs and your calves. Begin to arrive at your breath, just taking notice of your inhales and your exhales. To build heat in the body, begin to inhale through the nose and exhale through the nose. If for any reason you need a cooling breath, inhale through the nose and exhale through the mouth. We'll be starting off with some easy twists in this position. Inhale, sweeping your fingertips high overhead, and exhale, twist over your right shoulder. Right hand plants behind you, left hand greets the outside of the right thigh. Inhale, re-extend the fingertips overhead, and exhale, twisting over the left shoulder. Left hand reaches behind, right hand crosses over the lap. Continue to inhale as fingertips rise, and exhale, deepen into your twist, gazing over your shoulder. Inhale, re-extending the fingertips, and exhale, cactus the arm as your heart draws forward and your gaze goes up. Exhale, draw the elbows together and round through the spine while you draw your belly button into the spine. Continue this motion with every inhale and every exhale, allowing your breath to guide the movement. Begin to make your way into your tabletop and lower down onto the belly, Sphinx pose. Rest your forearms parallel to each other right underneath your chest. Begin to pull the mat towards you with your forearms, allowing your heart to pull forward as your hips sink deeper. Puppy pose. Draw your hips up and back as your chest lowers down to the ground, keeping your forearms exactly where they are. Inhale, draw forward for your Sphinx, and exhale, draw your hips back for your puppy pose. Imagining a wave traveling from your hips to your shoulders and fingertips, and back from your fingertips and shoulders through your hips. Release back into your tabletop position. Downward dog. Tuck your toes underneath you and send your hips up and back. Maybe keeping a gentle bend in the knees or walking the dog, alternating bent knees. Making our way to the front of the mat, come up high on the tippy toes and cross one foot in front of the other until you end in a cross-legged forward fold. Right foot crosses over the left. Exhale down into your forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, and exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, uncross the legs. Left foot crosses over the right. Inhale, halfway lift, and exhale, forward fold. Uncross the legs and inhale into your halfway lift. Exhale back down into your forward fold. Generous bend in the knees as you circle sweep the fingertips high overhead and exhale back down into your forward fold. Peace fingers to big toes. Inhale, halfway lift. And exhale, forward fold, leading with the heart. Draw the elbows out towards the side walls as you encourage a deeper fold. Release peace fingers. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Generous bend in the knees as you slowly begin to unravel, sweeping the arms up overhead, and exhale, release the arms down by your side. Single-legged Tadasana. Ground down into the left foot and draw the right knee up in line with your hip, flexing through the toes. Open twist to the right. Left hand comes on the outside of the right knee. Extend the right fingertips behind you, and maybe your gaze follows your right fingertips. Release, bringing the right hand to the right knee, and begin to open up the right hip so your right knee is pointing towards the right wall. Bringing the right knee back to center, extending both fingertips back overhead. Begin to hinge forward as you float the right foot back behind you, allowing the toes to softly land for your high crescent. Warrior One. Right heel lowers so that your right foot is parallel to the short edge of your mat. Take eagle arms in this position. Right elbow comes on the top of the inside of the left elbow. Resting your arms here or going for a double wrap in the hands. Humble warrior. Staying engaged through the front leg, begin to forward fold on the inside of the left thigh. Inhale for an exalted warrior, allowing the torso to rise, sending your gaze and elbows up towards the ceiling. And exhale, humble warrior. Eagle pose. Ground down into the left foot and take as many steps as you need to cross the right knee over the left. Begin to sink into the hips. Unravel, keeping that right knee lifted for your single-legged Tadasana. Inhale, and exhale, release everything back down into your mountain pose. We'll take the same thing on the opposite side. Remember to breathe. Single-legged Tadasana with the left knee rising. Open twist to the left. Right hand comes on the outside of the left knee. Extend the left fingertips behind you. Release, taking the left hand to left knee and open through the left hip. Bringing everything back to center. Begin to hinge forward as you kick that left heel behind you. Slowly begin to lower the left toes down and inhale into your high crescent. Exhale, warrior one. Heel lowers down to the ground, maybe checking to make sure that back leg is in line with the short edge of your mat. Eagle arms. Right elbow is underneath the left elbow. Exhale, humble warrior. Inhale, exalted warrior. Exhale, humble. And inhale, exalt. Returning back to center. Ground down into the right foot and launch off of the back toes, entering into your eagle pose. Left knee crosses over the right. Sinking down into the hips. Settle. Unravel to release back into your single-legged mountain, and exhale, release everything back down. Moving into part 2 of our flow. If you need to take any variation of these poses, feel free to do so. And if you're ready to flow, let's go. When you're ready, inhale single-legged Tadasana as right knee rises. Left hand reaches for the pinky toe edge of the right foot, or taking your hand to knee variation, begin to kick into the hand and lengthen the leg as you extend the right fingertips behind you. Extended hand to big toe pose, taking your right peace fingers, grabbing onto the right toes, opening up through the right hip. Still keeping that leg lifted off of the ground, bring it back to your center body. Begin to hinge forward and sweep the right leg behind you, lowering down onto the toes. Inhale, high crescent. Warrior 1, lowering the heel. Interlace the fingers behind the lower back and draw the knuckles down towards the heels. Variation to grab opposite elbows. Exhale, humble your warrior, and inhale, rise. Exhale, lower, and inhale, rise. Keeping whatever variation of the arms you have, launch off of the back toes and begin to enter into your warrior 3 pose. Right heel lifts off of the ground, flex the right toes down towards the mat, and maybe bring the hands to heart center. To release, float the leg down and forward so that you're back in your single-legged Tadasana, and exhale, release everything down to the ground. Take a breath here. We have one more side. Inhale, draw the left knee up, reaching for the outer edge of the left foot and extend the left fingertips back behind you. Bring left peace fingers to big toe and begin to open up through the left hip. Bring the leg back to center, allow it to hover, and begin to hinge forward and kick the left foot behind you, landing on those left toes. High crescent. Warrior 1, lowering down onto the left heel. Interlace the fingers behind your back or grab onto opposite elbows. Exhale, humble your warrior. Inhale, rise. Exhale, humble, and inhale, rise. Launch off of the back toes, beginning to enter into your warrior 3 pose. Flex the toes down towards the mat. Maybe release the grip from behind your back and bring your hands into prayer at heart center. Sweep the left leg down and draw it in front of you for your single-legged Tadasana as fingertips draw high. And exhale, release everything back down. Chair pose. Sweep the arms up overhead and lower the hips down towards the ground. Inhale, hold. Exhale, lower 1 inch. However you choose to get there, begin to make your way onto your back. Bridge pose. Draw your heels in towards your hips and maybe your fingertips brush the back of your heels. Inhale, draw the hips up towards the ceiling and allow your heart to follow. Maybe shimmy the shoulders underneath you and interlace the fingers or grab onto opposite elbows. And exhale, release everything down. Heel toe your feet to the outer edges of your mat and draw your knees in to touch, allowing your hips to rest. Heel toeing your feet back to hips width apart, bridge pose. Hips rise towards the ceiling, shimmy the shoulders underneath you, and take whatever arm variation feels best for your body. Exhale to release, lowering everything back down to the ground. Heel toe the feet out wide and bring the knees into touch. Rest here. Draw your knees into your center body. Maybe take a moment to rock from side to side or make small circles with the knees as you release the lower back. Supine hand to big toe pose. Release the left leg in front of you. Right peace fingers wrap around the right toe as you open up the right foot to begin to kick into the right wall. Exhale to release the heel back overhead, supine twist. Lower the right leg across the left side body. Maybe taking your arms out into a T position, gazing over the right fingertips. When you're ready to release, unravel and release the right leg down. Same thing on the opposite side. Left peace fingers meet left big toe. Open through the hip. To release, draw the leg back to center. Arms release in a T as you cross the left leg across the right side body, gazing over the left fingertips. When you're ready to release, drawing both knees into the chest, wrap your arms around your legs and begin to squeeze yourself tight for 3. For 2, tensing up. For 1, release arms, release legs, and allow yourself to enter into your final resting pose, Shavasana. When you're ready to release, begin to deepen your breath. Maybe bringing one hand to the belly and one hand to the heart. Observe how the chest and the belly rises and falls with every breath. Begin to notice the space around you, taking note of what you can hear, what you can feel. And then when you're ready, inviting a little bit of movement back into your body. Wiggling fingers, wiggling toes, rotating wrists and ankles. And when it feels good for you, begin to rock and roll north and south on your mat, re-entering into a comfortable seated position. As always, thank you for joining me, and I hope this practice was good to you. If you have any questions or comments or feedback, I'd love to hear it in the comments below. Until next time, as always, go in peace.